Greetings, Earthlings. I have an amazing video. It is in fact, it's time to explore a little bit of the Gen Con 2018, Gen Con 51 haul. So this video deserves its own recognition, separate from the rest of the Gen Con haul, because while we were exploring the show floor at Gen Con, we came across Mantic Games. And I liked their setup. They had a nice size space. And I was looking through a bunch of their stuff with some of the students, with Heather. We were there. We were checking stuff out. We were talking to some of the guys from Mantic Games. And I saw that they had all this cool terrain. And I'm looking at these little boxes of custom terrain and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this would be so cool. And I'm showing it to Heather, and she's like, oh, that would be so fun, and we could paint it and use it on the show and stuff. And so we were just kind of brainstorming. And then as we started talking with the guys from Mantic Games, we mentioned, you know, the show D&D with high school students and the channel and stuff. And he's like, well, if you really like terrain, we just did our Kickstarter for the terrain crates. So these are big boxes full of stuff, and each one has a theme. And I'm like, oh my god, I wish I had you know, because I know the value of the Kickstarter. You get way more for your money if you back the Kickstarter. And he goes, well, we have some boxes. We have some here. And I'm like, really? So he goes, and he's like, I'm selling them at Kickstarter prices. I'm like, really? So now my attention's peaked, right? So then we're talking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I say, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'll buy some crate, and then you throw in some crate, and we'll do an unboxing video, and we'll blow it up on the channel, and we'll do some painting videos to show people how to paint this stuff up, and then we'll use it on the show. And he's like, deal. So without further ado, it's time to open up some of this awesome stuff. Now, when I say open up, man, I mean it. Like, I've never opened this. It's still in the plastic. So we have 3 things here. I'm going to do them one at a time, don't worry. But I just want to kind of lay them out in full view, okay? So we have Dungeon Crate. Boom. We have Battlefield Crate. Boom. We have Town Crate. Boom. Okay? So each one of these has over 100 pieces in it. Something like 120 pieces, okay? So we're gonna do them one at a time, because I don't wanna make a mess. So what do we start with? Oh God, I don't even, oh, the excitement's too huge. All right, we're gonna start with Town Crate, because as many of you know, I'm a geek for town stuff. So, and I have a fair amount of town stuff, but when I was looking at the pictures for what's included in this, I was excited, very excited. So there we are. We're on the top cam, right, Dave? Plastic's off. So this is like a little shoebox. Terrain Crate, Kickstarter exclusive, made by Mantic. Town Crate. Bazoom. What do we have? All right, so we've got a little Mantic catalog there. That's cool. I dig that. Star Saga, The Walking Dead All Out War, Dungeon Saga, yes, Dreadball, Kings of War, Warpath Universe, and then here's the Terrain Crate. Okay, I'm gonna set that over there. So, Town, Terrain Crate Town. What comes with it? There's a library, blacksmith and stables, guard room, cart, tavern, tables and chairs, and throne room. Wow, this is so exciting. This is crazy. Okay, so within this box are all these nicely bagged things. Oh, I'm so happy. The OCD in me is very excited. Okay, so Dave, I hope this is in focus. I'm going to start this off here. So there are so many bags of things. So many bags. Now, this is 3D printed material, guys, but the base color is brown. And for all this wood stuff, like, I don't know how it takes paint yet. That's going to have to be explored on further videos. But, I mean, this is clearly, like, an option here. Now, here's what I dig. Look at this. The box is meant to be reused. It's meant to be reused because it's got dividers in it so that all this stuff can go back in the box. Oh, that's so exciting. So I'm going to actually... Now, it probably won't work until you like assemble it because that's a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to put this in, but you understand what I mean. You got these little dividers, so you can put that in there when your stuff's painted up, and then you can literally keep it nice and organized in your box. Yay! And that would coincide with, yeah, so like you've got your library stuff in one slot, your blacksmith and stables in another, your guard room in another, your tavern in another, your tables and chairs in another, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your throne room and cart can probably all be in one. So that would be 6 slots. Makes sense. All right, so let's take a closer look. This is exciting. Okay, so this looks like the throne room material. So I don't know how much detail we could see on the camera, but oh, really nice. And it's kind of like a different color too. So we've got these ornate chairs. Can you see those, Dave? They're in focus? Okay. So we've got these ornate chairs, throne room chairs. That's so legit. The detail's really nice. Really nice. You know, usually when you're looking at 3D printed stuff, you could see some of the 3D printing artifacts, I guess. But this is fantastic. Here's a long runner, like a fancy rug. That's nice. We have tapestry. So on one side is kind of a textured thing, and on the other is just the back of it. But I suppose that you could paint whatever you wanted on the tapestry and give it kind of a tapestry look. And then here, this is like an ornate mirror. And then there's another rug. So we've really got some nice pieces in this. Nice. And again, I love the fact that these are bagged up. Like they're... So that, you know, I don't feel overwhelmed just by like a bunch of pieces. Like these are in bags, they're organized, and I can maintain that organizational structure even after I've painted them if I want. Nice work. All right, so this is just a bag of tables and chairs. This looks like it's part of a tavern set or the library. Yeah, tables and chairs. And so, in addition to just tables and chairs, we have, like, so here's some really nice, sturdy-looking tables, some with a couple legs, some with the fatter legs there. There's a round table, you know, so you could set this up in a library environment. You could set it up in a tavern, in a wizard study. There's, like, a little miniature, like, bunch of flagons of ale and stuff, and here are some plates that are out on the tables. Some benches, you got some benches there, so for your people who are sitting around benches, and some chairs. You have some footstools, or, you know, smaller stools for maybe your halflings or dwarves. And then you've got some cool, like, candelabras, maybe? Or they're not really candelabras. I forgot what you call those things. But they're, you know, the tall things that have, like, burning things in them. So, now, these are a little bent. That's totally okay. I want people to understand. When you have 3D printed terrain, sometimes it's thinner and it warps a little bit. It's a really easy fix. And I'm not even a big 3D printed terrain guy, but I've just picked this up from the different forums that I'm a member of. But, you know, basically you can heat up some water and you kind of like soak it very briefly, and then that makes it malleable. And then you have a bowl of colder water right by there. So once it kind of, you get the shape that you need it to be, you've bent it back, then you kind of put it back in the cold water to cure it. So, and there are other methods of strengthening things too. Like if this just becomes unstable, I could always, you know, use a little of the old crafting magic and maybe hot glue it to a base that's a little more solid and weighted, you know, because this is kind of top heavy. And then what do we have here? Looks like, oh, little fireplace kind of stuff. Nice. Very nice. I dig this. This is really cool. So I'm not going to be redundant, but you get your money's worth. I'm going to count up how many... I'm not going to open up each bag if it's the same thing, but I have 2 of these kind of tables and chair bags, which is enough to populate any, like, college, you know, bard college space or tavern or inn, whatever you're doing. You got tables and chairs galore here, you know, or maybe some manor or castle or barracks or whatever you're going to have. You got plenty of this stuff in here. Really get your money's worth. And it's nice. Like, the print details are really good. So I dig this so much already. All right, let's explore. So it looks like we've got a little more of the study stuff. So I have 2 bags. And again, I've never opened this. I never looked through this. So we're experiencing it at the same time. I've got 2 bags of this cool library and tavern stuff. And that's heavy. These are really nice, heavy shelving units. So here's one that's like got some lower cabinets, and it's got some shelves there. And then here's one that's more like library with shelving and books on there. And another one that's got library and shelving and books. And another one. And by the way, the backs of these are like wood, so it's actually very realistic. Here's a taller unit that's not as wide. And oh, awesome! There's a corner unit. So if you're building, here I'll build this over here. So if you're building like a unit, you can have it, you know, you can set it up so that it's I'll make it kind of open there. Oh, it's like IKEA except D&D. I'm so excited. So you can have like a whole corner unit there. That's so rad. All right, then there's this nice, so this is like a kind of a desk piece, and you can have that set up. There's like random stack of books, like just sitting up there, you know. So you can put that on one of the tables from the other bags. And then you've got this ladder, like a library ladder. So it's on wheels, and it can, you know, it looks like it's meant to, oh, that would be the other way, Bill. Don't be dumb. It's, you know, it looks like it's meant to roll across there. So if you stacked, say that I did double stack, you know, I'm doing the great library at the Citadel in Game of Thrones or something like that, you know, and I've got a ladder so I can go up to the upper levels. So you can even have like a multi-layer, multi-height kind of thing. That's so cool. And again, here's a whole nother bag of all that stuff. This is epic. This is so cool. I do not have anything like this, and I have a lot of terrain, as most of you know. So this is extremely exciting. Now, I often think, you know, when I geek out about the town stuff, sometimes I have these moments where I'm like, oh, but what good is it? You know, it's cool for dioramas, but is it practical? Is there playability? Yes, totally playability. And here's how. You know, you have character classes, for example, like the Bard, who, you know, you could have these environments built. You can have these environments built, and if you don't want to have to like break it down and rebuild it every time, you could set up like a base, you know, just craft a little base for the room, whether it's out of foam or cardboard or whatever, you know, put your floorboards in. I have tutorial videos on that stuff. You could do that. And then, you know, instead of gluing these pieces in, which would make it kind of permanent like a diorama, don't glue them. Just use like poster tack, that little gummy stuff, and you could kind of poster tack them into place. And that way you could pick up the whole board for your Bard College setting or whatever you're doing, or the Inn of the Whispering Demon, or whatever place that is a recurring location in your storyline. And you could just preset those and just have it off on a shelf. And then when the characters go there, boom, you fly it in, it's all decked out. So totally playable, okay? And you don't have to put a lot of work into it, because these pieces are great. Like, I'm not joking, like, if I didn't have time to paint this wood stuff, like, I could just put this on the table. It's already brown. Now, we'll explore how to paint these in future videos, but my guess is that I'm going to have to give it like a wash, you know, to wash off any of the kind of chemical stuff, and then probably, you know, do maybe a mid-tone wood and try some dry brushing just to give it a little more depth. But these are beautiful as is. They're like ready to go out of the box. It's incredible. Okay. I'm going to wait on the cart pieces over there because I'm still kind of digging all this in and laboratory stuff. I can't even believe this is, you guys, this is one crate. I have 2 more to go through. This is epic. Okay, so that is the blacksmith stuff, right? Blacksmith and stables. What the hell is that? That's blacksmith stuff too? Or is that guard room? What is it? No, that's tavern. Okay, tavern. So I was looking at library stuff. We were just looking at library stuff. Well, there's also blacksmith and stables. There's guard room, and there's more tavern. This is incredible. Just absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, so tavern. Hold on to your pants, people. Keep your pants on, because there's 3 bags of tavern. Okay, so what do we have? We have the bar, okay? We have a fireplace. I'm going to stone this up like nobody's business, dude. This fireplace is going to look beautiful when I'm done with this. That's going to be a nice little paint job. Okay, we have the bar. Now, the bar is on the inside. There's actually supports for the bar to stand up, but there's also like a little ledge, okay? So you could have the fireplace over here. You could have the bar there. You've got a keg that's tapped. You've got an actual wood cabinet piece with bottles all here, all there. Gonna paint those up. That'll be like painting a mini though. Those are really small, so we're gonna have to be real careful with those. Then you've got a bunch of other bottles here that you could have on standby on top of the bar or wherever you want them. What is this? Oh, that's the fire. There's a fire for the fireplace. I could paint it up and there'll be like charcoals and there's like a grate there. Oh my God, that's so cool. And then more, more barrels and stuff that are tapped. So now I'm guessing that depending on how you go with this. Yep, so there's more of that. I have another set there and another set there. 3 bags of bar material. Could you also just combine some of the tables and chairs? Yes, of course. So if you're using tables and chairs, maybe in your library as a study, that's one thing, but you can also use them in the tavern to dress this out. And you could, I don't know why there'd be a shelf of books in a tavern, but maybe it's like a more progressive inn, where they're like, come, stay, have some food and some ale and read a book, But yeah, so all that stuff could be cross, like kind of mixed across your genres. But I'm guessing that you've got 2 more bags of this, so you can make your bar into any configuration you want. You could do kind of an L bar, you could do a U, you could do 2 bars just long and then 1 bar across from it for display purposes and have the kegs up on there. You could take one of the long tables from the table and chair bag and actually make that where all of your casks and your kegs are. So, sky's the limit. This is so cool. Can't wait to paint this stuff. This is going to be so awesome. Now I have to think, like, do I want to paint all the wood tones the same, or do I want to have some variety? Maybe 1 bar would be like cherry wood, and another would be like a walnut. I have to call Sean. You guys remember Sean from D&D with high school students? Because he knows woodworking. He could tell me, like, what colors I should paint things. All right. So, wow, there's just so many bags of this terrain. So I think what I'm going to do next, flipping the sheet, is this blacksmith and stables bag. This is crazy. This is just absolutely insane. All right. Wow. So stables. I've got big bundles of hay bales. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. I'm not a farmer, but that's huge. I've got for the blacksmith, I've got a rack for tools, a display rack for his tools. Looks like over here I've got a wheelbarrow for the farm, or the not farm, the stables. Blacksmith also has like a post with a hook That might be for the stables too, like the post with the hook and some rope to like rope up your. All right, here's a big anvil. Here's a trough. Probably this trough is probably either for the stables or maybe it's like a water thing where the blacksmith tempers his metal things. I don't know the right terms. Shut up. All right, here's the big thing that they cook up their metal in. The forge. That's what it's called. The forge. Look at that. Nice stone. And there's some metal top pieces there. The wagon wheels, probably just nice decor. See, some of that stuff's just cool to have. This is like a little piece of scatter terrain, and I'm guessing it's poop. It's manure. It's a pile of manure, which you should find in your stables. Here's a grinding wheel thing to sharpen your metals. Here's a water pump, probably something over by the stables. Here's a baffles, is that what it's called? To pump air into the fire hot thing. And then you've got a shovel and another bucket and another one of these posts with rope. So all that stuff is part of the blacksmiths and stables. So cool. So cool. So cool. You might be wondering to yourself right now, is Bill happy with this Mantic Games terrain crate? Yes, because people were only halfway through the first box. Soak that up for a second. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. It's like Christmas for nerds. All right, so for those of you that have been waiting for the guard room, let me I'll enumerate that. There are 3 guardroom bags. So there's a giant weapons and armor rack right there that is a little warped. No big deal. We just warm that up. Oop, I just broke something off. Shit. Oh, no, it's not broken. It comes off. There's little pegs. Oh, that's cool. I was worried for a second. But Mantic Games is smarter than me. So you don't have to worry. It's right there. B, put that in some warm water, straighten it out, cool it down. There are some beds for the barracks. There is a target for archery practice. There's little... What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. What is this? What would that be for? Oh, just like a blanket. Oh, I see. All right, so just like a blanket, there's like a book and a little telescope. So, for the guys that don't have beds, like maybe the new recruits. Here's a practice dummy, for practicing with. So you got a lot of that stuff there. 2, 3 bags of that. So you could set up a training yard, a barracks, whatever you want for your town, And now you've got this guard room thing. Or if you're doing a castle, maybe the guard room's in the castle, But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And now the last bag for the town crate is this. And that's the cart and the wagon and the horse. Now I find these things to be immensely useful because there's almost always in D&D some kind of adventures on the road. This also looks like it could be employed in town. So if we look here, there's like a little trading thing, So maybe whether you're on the road or you're in town, you've got some merchant who's got his vegetables and his whatever fruits and vegetables out on display and a bag of grain and some barrels of whatever, maybe some eggs there, I don't know. And here's the trusty horse that's all ready to go. And then here's the wagon. Now again, a little warped, but nothing that some warm water couldn't fix. We'll straighten these wheels out. But here's the cool part. They actually roll, dude. No, they don't. Do they? No, they don't. Rip. Doesn't matter. This can rig up to the horse, and then you've got this nice roadworthy setup. So I will fix that, obviously, before I paint so that the wheels are straight and the plastic's not warped. But this is really cool. And again, every time an adventuring party goes on a long trip, this is something that I can bust out. It's painted. It'll be ready to go. And it's to scale. because I've used like little wagons from like kids' toys, basically, like Pioneer Days little toys. And the wagons are cool because they're covered wagons, but they're a little big for, you know, 28 or 30 millimeter D&D scale. So this will be nice because this is a little more like a cart that a peasant would use, or that an adventuring party might invest in if they're going to be on the road a lot and they want to be able to carry treasure. So totally excited. This was just the first crate. The town crate, behold its power. Is it worth it? Yes. Because if you went out and bought each one of these pieces of terrain, let's say, separately, or each bag of terrain, it would be a lot more money, right? You know, even if you said it's $1 a piece, $1 a piece, you know, or $5 a bag, that's a lot of money. So this is great. So Town Crate from the Terrain Crate series by Mantic Games was an adventure. Stay tuned for the next part where I open up another one of these big boxes and go into great detail about it. So we'll see you around for the next unboxing of the Mantic Games Terrain Crates. What's that, Wizzy? Everybody should subscribe? Good idea. Wizzy thinks that you guys should subscribe, and make sure you click on that little bell icon to get those notifications. And check out some of the other videos and playlists that we have on the channel. There's all sorts of good gaming stuff for you and your family. Maybe not your family, but